Hi boys and girls, it's Mr. Folland, and we are back with episode 2 of Spot Run Storytime. Get up and start spot running right now. If you missed episode 1, I suggest you go back and look on YouTube and find episode 1, or else you're not going to really know what's going on in our story. The book that we're reading is Sideways Stories from Wayside School. We're on chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called Mrs. Jules, and Mrs. Jules looks like that. Now, if you remember back in chapter 1, we learned that the teacher was turned into an apple, and one of the recess teachers ate the apple. So the boys and girls in class didn't have a teacher. So let's see what happens in chapter 2. Mrs. Jules had a terribly nice face. She stood at the bottom of Wayside School and looked up. She was supposed to teach the class on the 30th story. So she's going to be the class's new teacher. The children on the 30th story were scared. They had never told anybody what happened to Mrs. Gorf. They hadn't had a teacher for 3 days. They were afraid of what their new teacher would be like. They had heard she'd be a terribly nice teacher. They had never had a nice teacher. They were terribly afraid of nice teachers. Mrs. Jules walked up the winding, creaking staircase to the 30th story. She was also afraid. She was afraid of the children. She had heard that they were horribly cute children. She had never taught cute children. She was horribly afraid of cute children. She opened the door to her classroom. She was terribly nice. The children could tell just by looking at her. Boys and girls, how would you feel if it was your first day at school and you were getting a brand new teacher? Mrs. Jules looked at the children. They were horribly cute. In fact, they were much too cute to be children. "I don't believe it," said Mrs. Jules. "It's a room full of monkeys." The children looked at each other. They didn't see any monkeys. "This is ridiculous," said Mrs. Jules. "Just ridiculous. I walked all the way up 30 flights of stairs for nothing but a class of monkeys. What do you think I am? I'm a teacher, not a zookeeper." The children looked at her. They didn't know what to say. Todd scratched his head. "Oh, I'm sorry," said Mrs. Jules. "Please don't get me wrong. I have nothing against monkeys. It's just that I was expecting children. I like monkeys. I really do. Why, I'm sure we can play all kinds of monkey games." "What type of games do you think monkeys like to play?" "What are you talking about?" asked Todd. Mrs. Jules nearly fell off of her chair. "Well, what do you know? A talking monkey. Tomorrow I'll bring you a banana." "My name is Todd," said Todd. The children were flabbergasted. They all raised their hands. "I'm sorry," said Mrs. Jules, "but I don't have enough bananas for all of you. I didn't expect this. Next week I'll bring a whole bushel." "I do not want a banana," said Calvin. "I'm not a monkey." "Would you like a peanut?" asked Mrs. Jules. "I think I might have a bag of peanuts in my purse." "Wait a second. Yes, here it is." "Thanks," said Calvin. Calvin liked peanuts. Allison stood up. "I'm not a monkey," she said. "I'm a girl. My name is Allison, and so is everybody else." Mrs. Jules was shocked. "Do you mean to tell me that every monkey in here is named Allison?" "No," said Jenny. "She means we're all children. My name is Jenny." "No," said Mrs. Jules. "You're much too cute to be children." Jason raised his hand. "Yes," said Mrs. Jules, "the chimpanzee in the red shirt. My name is Jason, and I'm not a chimpanzee." "You're too small to be a gorilla," said Mrs. Jules. "I'm a boy," said Jason. You're not a monkey?" asked Mrs. Jules. "No," said Jason. And the rest of the class, "They're not monkeys either." you still spot running? Keep it up, we're almost done. The faster you spot run, the stronger you're getting. No, said Allison. That is what we've been trying to tell you. Are you sure? Asked Miss Jules. We'd know if we were monkeys, wouldn't we? Asked Calvin. I don't know, said Miss Jules. Do monkeys know that they are monkeys? I don't know, said Allison. I'm not a monkey. No, I suppose you're not, said Mrs. Jules. Okay, in that case, we have a lot of work to do. Reading, writing, subtraction, addition, spelling. Everybody take out a piece of paper. We will have a test now. Jason tapped Todd on the shoulder. He said, do you want to know something? I like it better when she thought we were monkeys. I know, said Todd. I guess now that means she won't be bringing me a banana. There will be no talking in class, said Mrs. Jules. She wrote Todd's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. All right, boys and girls, that's the end of episode 2 of Spot Run Storytime. Did you keep up the whole time? I hope you're having an outstanding day. Find my page tomorrow, and we'll move on to chapter 3 tomorrow. See ya.